in the Old Testament that's letting you see what Christ is coming on the scene. Let's keep going. Back into Old Testament. So when we get to Genesis chapter 17, verse 7 says, and I will establish my covenant between me and thee. This is God establishing a covenant with Abram before he becomes Abraham. After thee in their generation, for an everlasting covenant to be a God unto thee and thy seed after thee. So now he's telling, I'm going to bless your seed and every seed that comes after it. But the thing about it is he's talking about more than Abraham's seed. So since we don't have a full grasp of what's going on, we have a actual opening or a promise of a seed, which Paul talks to the church in Galatia and breaks down to them and explains to them, pulls this same verse back up and tells them what is actually being explained in here. So Galatians chapter 3 verse 16 says, now the promise was spoken to Abraham to his seed. Read it slow. He does not say and to seeds as to referring to many, but rather to one, and your seed, that is Christ. Another type shadow or example that Christ is on the scene and Christ is about to be revealed. And what God is doing through his revelatory and wisdom is he's constantly showing people that my son is on the way, my son is with me now, which is in the form of the word, and he's going to become flesh. But I'm constantly giving y'all an example, so when he comes on the scene, it won't be a shocker. So when this John 5:39, all scriptures point to me, you can see it, because everything that is going on and showing you in Old Testament, God always leaves, like we have with the Hansel and Gretel, leaves the breadcrumbs and shows little signs that this is for my son. So watch this, that's so amazing. So now we have this sacrifice, right? And we have this sacrifice in Genesis 22. Abraham is going to sacrifice his son, right? Let's go back a little bit, because this is the powerful thing about this. On the third day, Abraham raised his eyes and saw the place for a distance. I wanted to show you that because I think it was just a coincidence, or luckily, or by accident, that on the third day Abraham was doing the sacrifice. You know, just guessing the third day was just by accident, right? Whatever. Abraham said to his young men, stay here with the donkey, and I and the lad will go there, and we will return. We will worship and return to you. This is already saying that Abraham knows that he's coming back with his son, even though he's going to sacrifice his son, and it's on the third day. Okay, that's already one sign. That's just showing you openly, right? So verse 6 says, Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, laid it on it. Isaac his son, he took in his hand the fire and the knife. So the two of them walked on together. So he has everything for the offering. He's going up, and then check what his son says. Isaac spoke to Abraham's father, said, Dad. He was like, what's up? He said, look, I see the fire, I see the wood, but where's the lamb for the burnt offering? Pause. Next verse. I'm gonna read this slow because I want y'all to get this. Abraham said, God will provide for himself the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. So the two of them walked on together. Abraham is speaking prophetically. He said, God will provide for himself the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. So the two of them walked off together. Now, the thing about this verse, you can say, well, nah, or that's a coincidence, or yeah, he knew he was going to provide a lamb. This is the biggest problem with that verse. Then Abraham raised his eyes and looked, behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and the offering up to him for a burnt offering in the place of his son. Take your time to catch that. That's verse 13, right? Verse 8 says, God will provide for himself the lamb for the burnt offering. But then when time for God to provide, what does he provide? He provides a ram. A ram and a lamb are two different things. Christ is the lamb offering. He is the sacrificial lamb. Abram says that it's going to be a lamb provided, but then a ram gets provided. This is Abram speaking prophetically, saying that a lamb is actually going to be provided for the sacrifice for the sins of all people. Should I keep going? I'm going to, because I want y'all to catch what just happened. We just seen different examples of when there's supposed to be something done and God does it, but he sticks in an example and shows you what his son is soon to come. Foreshadowing. So let's go past Genesis. We got Joseph, and Joseph has the coat, and we can see where Joseph done some things that can kind of be a type of like Christ, where Joseph hides and goes into Egypt and comes out of Egypt, as in Joseph, Jesus's father, hides him and Mary, and they hide in Egypt for a while, and then in the vision tells them come out of Egypt. We can see where there's the 12 tribes, and we can see where Judah is the tribe that's going to have the staff for the kingship forever, which now we know that Judah is the tribe that Christ comes out of. So we see different types of signs with Joseph. I'm going past because I want you to see what happens in the book of Exodus.